Hi guys, Nick's here, and this is my first playthrough of Don't Starve. I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks and how to survive and make best use of your time in the first few days of Don't Starve. Don't Starve is an uncompromising wilderness survival game where you need to exploit your surroundings and what you can find in the resources to make sure that you don't starve and can survive as long as possible. So let's get going. The first two tips that I would give go hand in hand. So explore as big an area as you can and collect everything you find. So that includes grass, saplings, flint, any rocks that you can find on the floor, because sooner or later, mostly sooner, they are going to become very handy in surviving. It's also worth keeping note of all of the different environments that you come across. So here I'm in a grassy environment, which is obviously a great source of grass, rocks, and you can see little rabbits scampering about, which later on become an important source of food. As soon as you can, you will want to make an axe, which takes one sapling and one flint to make. Then you can start collecting logs, which will enable you to build a campfire when you find a suitable place to build camp. One of the more strange things you may find in Don't Starve are wormholes. Wormholes are essentially tunnels which connect 2 points in the world together. Normally, I found that they connect 2 points in the world which have different resources. So you saw me jump out in the forest. It looks like I land in another normal forest, which would be a bit contradictory to what I just said. However, further exploration shows beehives. Beehives are a very important resource to find early on in the game, because you can make your own bee farms and start to collect your own honey. As you can see, it's started to get dark. Most of the characters in Don't Starve will try to prompt you to build your main camp when it gets dark. I would advise against this. I would continue searching the map for a better place, maybe a spot which is close in between 2, maybe even 3 resources, just so that you've got the best of all of the resources available, or at least a good selection, just so that you don't have to travel days on end to get some rocks or meat or anything else that tickles your fancy. Back on the other side of my wormhole, there are beefalo. Now beefalo become very important a bit later on in the game, because once you kill them you can get meat, you can shave them for their fur, and you can collect their manure, all of which are very important as you can build farms, clothes to survive the winter, and obviously feed yourself with the meat. Even though it is at this point becoming late and dark, I would still advise explore as far as you can, because you need to make the most of any daytime that you have. Like you can see here, I'm not bothered, I'm still collecting as much stuff as I can find, because it is all useful, and until it's pitch black you can still see everything, so why not make the most of your time and collect as many resources as you can. And here we have it, your first night in Don't Starve. Like I said, just build a basic campfire, just because this is just going to be a temporary camp. You're only going to stay here for the first night, and all you want to do is cook any of the food you found, because even though raw ingredients do fill you up, cooked ones fill you up more and give you some give you special bonuses, and then obviously eat it all up. When daytime comes, what you want to do is stay close to your fire, and just make the most of your time. So collect some resources again, chop down some trees, crack open some rocks, because when your fire actually burns out you'll be able to collect the ashes, and the ashes are one of the main ingredients later on in the game for creating a healing salve in case you become injured or anything like that. So it is always, just waiting 30 seconds for your fire to burn out, and collect the ashes once done. Now that you've survived your first night in Don't Starve, it's time to go and collect some rocks. So make a pickaxe, head back to any rocks that you previously found, smash them up and pick up the rocky goodness. You want to collect as many as you can, as quickly as you can. I like to collect a lot of rocks to begin with, just because it means I don't have to go back. Across your world in Don't Starve you may come across a graveyard like me. Graveyards can be a very good source of finding gold. I'm not sure why, never found any in real life when I visited a graveyard, but as you can see here I have found some gold in the graveyard. So always have a good look around the graveyards, because sometimes you can find open graves as well, as you see here. Loads of rocks, loads of gold, a pickaxe and a miner's hat, which once dark illuminates the world for you, so you can still continue to work during the night. Eventually in Don't Starve you'll find mines such as these. They have golden tints and they have a random chance of dropping gold itself. They're very useful, and I tend to mine them as much as possible. In the top corner of my screen there you see a big bird. Not sure what woke him up, but they hit quite hard, so you want to stay away from them. Again, when night falls, make a basic campfire, pop it down, and continue to work through the night, eating and cooking as you go, just to fill up your stomach. Just because, like I said before, it's very important to make as much use of your time as you can. Don't forget to wait for your campfire to burn out as well, just so you can collect the ash again. So just run around, break up some more rocks, or chop down some more trees, collect some fruit, carrots, catch some rabbits, anything you want, just to make sure that you're still hanging around when your fire burns out, so you can go and grab the ashes. Now that it's got into day 3 of my game, I decided that the place with the beehives was the best place to build camp. Obviously your world isn't going to be the same as mine, so you're going to need to make a judgment call, but beehives, beefalo, rabbits, or a combination would be a great place to build your camp, just because you need a good source of food. Once you've chosen a suitable location for your camp, you want to make a fire pit. It's more effective than a normal campfire because it stays around. And you want to make a science machine, which opens up a whole new world of possibilities for creating items. Next up, I always like to make chests to store any unwanted items or items you don't need right now. Before you do that, you need to refine your logs into boards. You need 3 boards to make a chest, so I would always advise making at least 1, maybe even 2, just to store any items that you don't need to carry around with you the whole time. Once I've created my chest and put away anything I don't mind carrying with me the whole time, I do cook up any food that I've got left over, eat it all, so that I'm ready to carry on adventuring. It's quite self-explanatory, but I've lost count of the times I've forgotten to eat, and then it screwed me over. After a little bit more exploring, you're most likely going to find a swamp. Now, this swamp actually houses a spider's nest, which is good for me, because the spiders drop silk, which I want to become the best bug catcher in the world, and the silk is used to make bug catching nets. Now, in this swamp, the tentacle which comes out the ground has actually been killing the spiders, which is actually a bonus for me. Just make a spear and make sure that you do destroy spider's nest afterwards, because it can drop a lot of silk. Even though you only need 2 silk to make a bug catching net, it is always better to get a surplus of the silk you need, just because your bug catching nets can break. And like I said in regards to the rocks, it's always better to get a lot of a resource straight away, so you don't have to go back and get some later on. Now that I had as much silk as I wanted, it was time to go back to camp. On my way though, there was a lightning strike hit the floor in the forest, and a fire broke out. Now, even though the fires are dangerous and they can kill you, there is a good offset to that, because once all of the trees and forests have burnt down, it does produce ash. And like I said earlier, ash is great for making healing salves, so just make sure you collect as much as you can if you were to find a forest fire. Once you get back to your camp, it is time to make your bug catching net. Now, before you do so, you have to refine some grass into rope, because the net requires rope to make. Once done, you just need to find your bug catching net from your selection of items and go ahead and make it. Now we're ready to go and catch some bees. When morning comes, equip your net, follow the buzz to try and find any bees you can. Like the good little bug catcher you are, when you find some bees, click on them and you'll scoot them up like so. If you're close to a beehive, killer bees will come up to try and protect their hive. You don't really need to worry about them, you can outrun them. There's no point catching them though, because they're not useful to you at this stage for creating your beehive. You only want the yellow ones. When you've gotten enough bees to create your beehive, the last ingredient you need is a honeycomb. And the honeycomb drops from the beehive itself, so if there's any killer bees still roaming around from when you were catching their buzzy brethren, take them out with your spear, then go and destroy the beehive. Once the honeycomb drops, pick it up, and then it's time to make your way back to camp. Once back at camp, check the food section near your science machine, find your bee box, place it in a good location, and there you have it. You have created your first unlimited source of food in Don't Starve. Congratulations people, you've made camp, you haven't starved, and you've now got a bee box, so you're in good standing in the world of Don't Starve not to starve. I think you all deserve a pat on the back, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.